I've always been compelled to capture. Since I was 8 years old, I've had a camera in my hands. There's something within me that wants to record and to remember. The process of a person moving out of childhood and growing into adulthood is so fascinating to me. It's a spiral of constant change that continues on and on for over a decade. You begin as a life force within your mother's womb, and when you get out, the world is endless and expansive. It's this new habitat that in your mind has yet to be explored. Like many kids, I couldn't wait to grow up. I always wondered what life would be like when I was twice the age I was that day. I specifically remember this paradox of wanting to grow old but not wanting to change from who I was at that point in time. When I was 8, there was a huge neighborhood complex being built. By the time I was 11, it was still being worked on and with so much more to be done. I remember passing by it on my way home and wondering if I would be 18 by the time it was finished. It felt like my whole life was leading up to this moment of turning 18 when I would graduate out of childhood and finally become an adult. But 18 didn't feel much different than 17. I had the same friends, parents, family, I just had a new number to attribute to it. I think the first time I stopped having this longing to grow up is when my grandpa passed away, after his 18-year battle with Alzheimer's disease. The night after he died, I went down to the basement of his house and spent hours upon hours looking at old photographs. There were pictures of my grandparents' beautiful vacations, the cottage they had before I was born, moments of laughter between them and their best friends, and holidays where they held my siblings and I tightly in their arms. And even though I saw myself there, I was detached from the reality of that being me. I felt like I didn't know any of these people. A rush of nostalgia came over my body and propelled me through time at a supernatural speed. All of a sudden, growing up didn't seem that important to me. My grandpa and I have always shared this craving to document moments. It felt unsettling knowing that I was one of the few people left to appreciate these photographs that would inevitably gather dust and be thrown away one day. Even though he lived so much life, his stories would end, his memories would fade. One day, no one would be there to attest to who he was. So why do we do this? Why do we archive memories? Why are moments so important to us? And while I don't think there is a simple answer, I know creation in itself is life-giving. In the same way that I was created, I can't help but create, and because I do this, I'll never have to question what life was like at 6 or 16. I'm just a dot on a timeline, but that speck means everything to me.